The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the bustling corridors of Heathrow Airport as travelers hurried to their destinations. Among the usual chaos of delayed flights and luggage announcements, something extraordinary was about to unfold that would change the lives of those involved forever. Detective Inspector Sarah Mitchell had been working the airport security detail for over 15 years, but nothing had prepared her for the call she received that Tuesday evening. Her radio crackled to life as she patrolled Terminal 5. The voice on the other end, urgent and barely controlled. All units, we have a Code 7 situation developing at Gate B47. Royal Protection Detail requesting immediate backup. This is not a drill. Sarah's heart began to race. Code 7 meant a direct threat to a member of the royal family. She quickened her pace, weaving through the crowds of oblivious passengers who continued their journeys, unaware that something significant was happening just meters away. As she approached the gate area, Sarah noticed the subtle but unmistakable signs of heightened security. Plainclothes officers had positioned themselves strategically throughout the terminal, their eyes scanning every face, every movement. The atmosphere was electric with tension. Near the departure lounge, she spotted Commander James Harrison, head of Royal Protection, speaking rapidly into his phone. His usually composed demeanor showed cracks of genuine concern. Sarah had worked with Harrison before, and she had never seen him look so troubled. "What's the situation, Commander?" Sarah asked as she approached. Harrison ended his call abruptly and turned to face her, his expression grave. "We've intercepted intelligence, suggesting an unauthorized approach to Her Majesty Queen Camilla. She's currently in the VIP lounge with Princess Charlotte, preparing for a private flight to Scotland." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. Princess Charlotte, the young daughter of Prince William and Catherine, was beloved by the public. The thought of any threat to the child was deeply disturbing. "What kind of threat are we dealing with?" she asked. "That's what we're trying to determine," Harrison replied, glancing around nervously. 20 minutes ago, airport security flagged an individual who had been asking specific questions about royal travel arrangements. When approached for routine questioning, the person became evasive and disappeared into the crowd. The commander's radio buzzed again. "Sir, we have eyes on the subject. Individual is moving toward the VIP area, approximately 50 meters from the royal party's location." Harrison's jaw tightened. "All units, maintain visual contact but do not engage unless absolutely necessary. We need to understand the full scope of this situation before we act." Sarah noticed that despite the heightened security measures, the airport continued to operate normally around them. Most passengers remained completely unaware that members of the royal family were even present, let alone that a potential security breach was unfolding. In the VIP lounge, Queen Camilla sat comfortably reading a magazine, while Princess Charlotte colored quietly in a nearby chair. The 9-year-old princess was completely absorbed in her artwork, carefully selecting different colored pencils from a small case beside her. "Granny Camilla, do you think Mama and Papa will like my drawing of our castle?" Charlotte asked, holding up her picture with pride. Camilla smiled warmly at the child. "I think they'll absolutely love it, darling. You're becoming quite the artist." Charlotte beamed at the praise and returned to her coloring, unaware of the protective officers positioned discreetly around the lounge. To her, this was simply a pleasant afternoon with her step-grandmother before their trip to visit family in Scotland. Outside the lounge, the security situation was intensifying. The individual who had triggered the alert was now positively identified as Marcus Webb, a freelance photographer with a history of aggressive pursuit of royal family members. Webb had previously been warned about maintaining appropriate distances and respecting privacy boundaries. "He's not supposed to be anywhere near royal family members," Harrison muttered to Sarah. "There's a restraining order in place following an incident last year where he pursued Prince George's school transport." Sarah's mind raced as she processed this information. "So this isn't a random threat. He's specifically targeting the family." "Exactly. And the fact that he's here, asking about travel arrangements, suggests he had advanced knowledge of today's plans." The implications were serious. If Webb had inside information about royal movements, it could indicate a broader security breach. The protection of the royal family depended on maintaining the confidentiality of their travel schedules and locations. Harrison received another update through his earpiece. Subject has obtained a visitor's pass to the VIP area. He's claiming to be a legitimate journalist covering a story about airport security improvements. How did he get credentials? Sarah asked. That's what we need to find out, Harrison replied grimly. Either someone made a serious mistake, or we have a more significant problem on our hands. As the minutes ticked by, the tension in the terminal continued to build. Additional security personnel had been called in, but they had to maintain the delicate balance of ensuring royal safety without causing a public spectacle that could escalate the situation. In the VIP lounge, one of the protection officers approached Queen Camilla discreetly. Your Majesty, we may need to adjust our departure schedule slightly due to some technical difficulties with the aircraft. Camilla understood immediately that this was likely a security-related delay rather than a mechanical issue. She had experienced enough of these situations over the years to recognize the coded language. Of course, she replied calmly. Charlotte and I are quite comfortable here. Perhaps we could order some tea and biscuits while we wait? Princess Charlotte looked up from her coloring. Are we going to be late for dinner with Uncle Harry's friends? Just a little delay, sweetheart, Camilla reassured her. Nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, Marcus Webb was making his way through the terminal's security checkpoints with surprising ease. His press credentials appeared legitimate, and his visitor's pass had been processed through normal channels. To casual observers, he looked like any other journalist covering a routine airport story. However, the Royal Protection Team knew better. Webb's presence was no coincidence, and his timing suggested careful planning. The question remained, was he working alone, or was this part of a larger scheme? Sarah positioned herself near the entrance to the VIP area, studying the faces of everyone who approached. Her years of experience had taught her to trust her instincts. And right now, every instinct was telling her that something was very wrong. Commander, she said quietly into her radio, I think we need to consider the possibility that this is a coordinated effort. Webb might be a distraction while something else is happening. Harrison paused, considering her words. What are you thinking? If I wanted to get close to the royal family, I might create a situation that draws security attention in one direction, while approaching from another. As if responding to her concerns, another voice crackled over the radio. We have a second individual of interest, near Gate C12, female, approximately 30 years old, carrying professional camera equipment and asking staff about royal departure procedures. End quote. The pieces of the puzzle were beginning to fall into place. But the picture they revealed was deeply troubling. This wasn't a simple case of overzealous photography. It was beginning to look like a carefully orchestrated plan to breach royal security at one of the country's most heavily monitored locations. The stakes couldn't be higher. Princess Charlotte's safety was paramount, and Queen Camilla's protection was equally important. But with potential threats emerging from multiple directions, the security team faced their most challenging situation in recent memory. As the afternoon wore on, the tension at Heathrow Airport continued to escalate, setting the stage for a confrontation that would test every aspect of royal security protocols and the dedication of those sworn to protect the monarchy. The situation at Heathrow had reached a critical point. Commander Harrison's worst fears were being realized as reports continued to flood in from various parts of the terminal. What had initially appeared to be a single security concern was rapidly evolving into something far more complex and dangerous. Sarah Mitchell found herself at the center of the unfolding drama. Her police training and years of airport security experience proving invaluable. As she monitored the communications between various security teams, a clearer picture began to emerge of what they were facing. Commander, we now have confirmation of at least 3 individuals working in coordination, Sarah reported. The woman at Gate C12 has been identified as Elena Vasquez, a known associate of Marcus Webb. They've collaborated on several unauthorized royal photography operations in the past. Harrison's expression grew even more serious. And the third individual? Still unidentified. But CCTV has tracked someone matching the profile, moving through the service corridors near the VIP area. They appear to have access credentials that shouldn't exist. The implications were staggering. If unauthorized individuals had gained access to restricted areas of the airport, it suggested a security breach that went far deeper than a simple case of aggressive journalism. In the VIP lounge, the atmosphere remained deceptively calm. Princess Charlotte had finished her coloring and was now playing a quiet game on a tablet, while Queen Camilla continued reading. The protection officers maintained their vigilant watch, but their body language had subtly changed, becoming more alert and focused. "Your Majesty," one of the officers approached discreetly. "We've received word that our departure may be delayed a bit longer than initially anticipated." Camilla nodded, understanding. "Perhaps Princess Charlotte and I should move to a more secure area of the lounge?" "That would be advisable, ma'am." Charlotte looked up from her tablet with innocent curiosity. "Are we playing a game like hide and seek?" "Something like that, darling." Camilla replied with a gentle smile, taking the child's hand. "Let's go explore the special room they have for very important visitors." As they moved deeper into the VIP facility, additional security measures were being implemented throughout the terminal. Airport authorities had quietly increased patrols, and specialized units were being deployed to key locations. Meanwhile, Marcus Webb had successfully gained access to the VIP area's outer perimeter. His press credentials had withstood scrutiny, and his confident demeanor suggested someone who belonged in such spaces. However, his true intentions were becoming increasingly clear to those monitoring his movements. "Target 1 has reached checkpoint 7, reported one of the surveillance officers. "He's approximately 3 minutes from the royal family's location." Sarah felt her pulse quicken. "Do we have authorization to intercept?" "Not yet," Harrison replied tersely. "We need to understand the full scope of their operation before we move. If we apprehend one operative prematurely, the others might escalate or escape." The delicate balance of royal protection was on full display. The security team needed to neutralize all threats simultaneously while ensuring the safety of innocent civilians in the busy airport. One miscalculation could result in chaos, potentially putting Princess Charlotte and Queen Camilla at even greater risk. Elena Vasquez had positioned herself strategically near the departure gates, her professional camera equipment allowing her to blend in with legitimate media personnel covering various airport stories. However, her focus was entirely on the VIP area, and she was maintaining constant communication with her associates through a sophisticated earpiece system. "Phase 2 is a go," she whispered into her concealed microphone. "Royal subjects are confirmed in position 7. Perimeter is secured." The third operative, still unidentified by security forces, had managed to access the airport's service level through credentials that appeared authentic but raised serious questions about internal security procedures. This individual was now moving through maintenance corridors that ran directly beneath the VIP lounge area. Detective Inspector Mitchell had begun to piece together the pattern of the operation. "Commander, I believe they're planning a coordinated approach from multiple directions. Webb from the front, Vasquez providing surveillance and communication support, and the unknown operative approaching from below." "But what's their objective?" Harrison wondered aloud. If this was simply about unauthorized photography, they wouldn't need such an elaborate setup. The answer to that question was becoming increasingly urgent as the operatives continued to close in on their target location. In the secure area of the VIP lounge, Princess Charlotte was beginning to sense that something unusual was happening. "Granny Camilla, why are there so many people with phones talking quietly?" she asked, with the perceptive nature typical of children her age. "They're just making sure everything runs smoothly for our trip, sweetheart," Camilla replied, though her own experience told her that the situation was far from routine. One of the senior protection officers approached with an update. "Your Majesty, we're implementing enhanced security protocols. This facility has a secure conference room that would provide additional protection if needed." "I think that would be wise," Camilla agreed, gathering her belongings and guiding Charlotte toward the indicated area. As they moved through the VIP facility, the princess noticed the increased activity around them. "It's like being in one of Papa's action films," she observed innocently. "Yes, it is rather exciting," Camilla agreed, maintaining a calm demeanor despite the gravity of the situation. The secure conference room was a windowless space equipped with advanced communication systems and reinforced construction. It represented the highest level of protection available within the civilian airport facility, designed specifically for situations like the one currently unfolding. Outside, the security operation was reaching its crescendo. Marcus Webb had been allowed to proceed closer to his target, but every movement was being monitored and recorded. The strategy was to gather as much intelligence as possible about the operation before making arrests. Webb is now at checkpoint 9, reported the surveillance team. He's showing signs of nervousness and checking his phone frequently. That's probably his cue to initiate the final phase, Sarah observed. We need to be ready to move on all targets simultaneously. Elena Vasquez had begun broadcasting live on a social media platform, ostensibly covering a story about airport security improvements. However, her camera angles and commentary were clearly focused on gathering and transmitting information about royal security procedures. This is highly irregular, Harrison noted as he monitored her broadcast. She's essentially providing real-time intelligence to anyone watching her stream. The third operative had reached a critical junction in the service corridors. Access to the VIP area's lower level was now just meters away, but sophisticated security systems protected these areas. The fact that this individual had come so far suggested either exceptional planning or inside assistance. We've identified the third operative, came a report from the technical security team. David Morrison, former airport employee terminated 6 months ago for security violations. He apparently retained access codes that should have been deactivated. This revelation added another layer of complexity to the situation. Morrison's insider knowledge of airport security systems and layouts made him potentially the most dangerous member of the operation. All units, prepare for simultaneous apprehension, Harrison commanded. We cannot allow this operation to proceed any further. In the secure conference room, Princess Charlotte was playing quietly with her coloring materials, while Queen Camilla maintained conversation with the protection officers. The child remained blissfully unaware of the drama unfolding around her, protected by the professionalism and dedication of those charged with her safety. Your Majesty, one officer reported, we're about to resolve the security situation. The threat level should return to normal within the next few minutes. Thank you, Camilla replied. Your team has handled this admirably. As the security forces prepared for their coordinated action, the tension throughout the airport reached its peak. The next few minutes would determine whether the threat to the royal family could be neutralized without incident, or whether the situation would escalate into something far more serious. The stakes had never been higher, and everyone involved understood that the safety of Princess Charlotte and Queen Camilla depended on the precise execution of the plan that was about to unfold. The moment of truth had arrived. Commander Harrison gave the signal, and simultaneous operations began across multiple locations within Heathrow Airport. Years of training and preparation were about to be put to the ultimate test as security forces moved to neutralize the coordinated threat to the royal family. Detective Inspector Sarah Mitchell positioned herself at the main checkpoint leading to the VIP area, ready to intercept Marcus Webb when the order came. Through her earpiece, she could hear the careful coordination of her colleagues as they prepared to apprehend all 3 operatives simultaneously. Alpha Team in position for Webb, came the first report. Bravo Team ready for Vasquez, followed the second. Charlie Team has Morrison contained in Service Corridor D7, concluded the third. The operation required split-second timing. If any of the operatives realized they were being watched, they might attempt to flee, or worse, escalate their activities in desperation. Marcus Webb had reached the final security checkpoint before the VIP lounge area. His press credentials were being examined by airport security personnel, who had been briefed on the situation. To Webb, this appeared to be routine verification, but it was actually the final delay before his apprehension. Documentation appears to be in order, sir, the security officer said, maintaining the pretense. Just a few more questions for our records. Webb shifted nervously, checking his phone again. The delay was clearly making him anxious, and sweat had begun to form on his forehead, despite the cool airport air conditioning. Elena Vasquez continued her live broadcast, but her commentary had become increasingly strained. She was receiving messages through her earpiece that something was wrong, but the exact nature of the problem remained unclear to her. As you can see, airport security here at Heathrow is quite thorough, she told her online audience. trying to maintain her cover story while her eyes darted around nervously. In the service corridors below, David Morrison had been quietly surrounded by specialized security personnel. His access to restricted areas was about to come to an abrupt end, though he remained unaware that his every movement had been tracked since entering the facility. Commander Harrison monitored all three situations from his command position. The coordination required was immense, but his team had trained for exactly these types of scenarios. The safety of Princess Charlotte and Queen Camilla depended on flawless execution. All teams, initiate on my mark, Harrison spoke into his radio. 3, 2, 1. Execute. The arrests happened simultaneously across the airport. Webb found himself surrounded by plainclothes officers who had appeared seemingly from nowhere. His press credentials were immediately confiscated, and he was informed that he was being detained under airport security regulations. "This is ridiculous," Webb protested as handcuffs were applied. "I'm a legitimate journalist covering a story. We'll discuss your credentials and your story at the station," Sarah replied firmly as she supervised his detention. "Right now, you're coming with us." Elena Vasquez's live broadcast came to an abrupt end as security officers approached her position near the departure gates. Her sophisticated camera equipment was seized, and she was informed that her media accreditation was being revoked, pending investigation. "You can't do this," she demanded. "I have rights as a member of the press." "You have the right to remain silent," replied the arresting officer. "Anything you say can and will be used against you." David Morrison's apprehension in the service corridors was the most dramatic of the three arrests. When confronted by security personnel, he initially attempted to flee through the maintenance tunnels, but found his escape routes blocked by additional officers. "Morrison, you're under arrest for trespassing on restricted property in violation of airport security protocols," announced the team leader. "We know about your terminated access codes." Morrison's shoulders sagged in defeat as he realized the futility of resistance. His insider knowledge had ultimately worked against him, as security forces had been able to predict his most likely routes through the facility. With all three operatives in custody, attention turned to ensuring the safety and comfort of the royal family members. In the secure conference room, Queen Camilla and Princess Charlotte had remained protected throughout the operation. "Your Majesty, the security situation has been resolved," Commander Harrison reported as he entered the secure area. "All individuals involved in the unauthorized approach have been apprehended." "Thank you, Commander," Camilla replied with genuine relief. "Your team handled the situation with remarkable professionalism." Princess Charlotte looked up from her coloring with innocent curiosity. "Is the game over now? Can we go to Scotland?" "Yes, darling," Camilla smiled. "The game is finished, and we'll be on our way very soon." The investigation that followed revealed the full scope of the operation. Webb, Vasquez, and Morrison had been planning their coordinated approach for several weeks, using Morrison's insider knowledge to identify vulnerabilities in airport security procedures. Their objective had been to capture unauthorized photographs and video footage of Princess Charlotte and Queen Camilla during their private travel. The images would have been sold to international media outlets for substantial sums, representing a serious invasion of royal privacy. More concerning was the discovery that Morrison had been selling information about royal travel arrangements to freelance photographers for months before his termination. This revelation prompted a comprehensive review of airport security clearance procedures and background monitoring systems. The security breach was more extensive than initially apparent, Harrison explained in his report to palace officials. Morrison's access to sensitive information created vulnerabilities that could have compromised royal safety on multiple occasions. Sarah Mitchell was commended for her role in identifying the coordinated nature of the threat and helping to prevent what could have been a serious security incident. Her experience and instincts had proved invaluable in protecting two of the most beloved members of the royal family. Without Detective Inspector Mitchell's analysis and quick thinking, we might have missed the broader scope of this operation, Harrison noted in his official commendation. The three operatives faced serious charges related to airport security violations, trespassing on restricted property, and conspiracy to commit invasion of privacy. Their sophisticated equipment and planning indicated that this was far from their first attempt at such an operation. Webb's history of pursuing royal family members resulted in additional charges and a more severe restraining order. His press credentials were permanently revoked, and he faced significant fines along with possible imprisonment. Elena Vasquez's social media broadcast provided prosecutors with clear evidence of her involvement in the conspiracy. Her real-time transmission of security information could have enabled additional threats that the authorities were unaware of. David Morrison faced the most serious charges due to his abuse of insider access and his role in compromising airport security over an extended period. His case prompted changes in how former employees' access rights are monitored and revoked. Later that evening, Queen Camilla and Princess Charlotte finally departed for Scotland aboard their private aircraft. The delay had been minimal, and Charlotte had found the entire experience rather exciting, unaware of how serious the situation had actually been. "Granny Camilla, can we play that hiding game again sometime?" Charlotte asked as their plane prepared for takeoff. "I think once was quite enough excitement for one day," Camilla replied, with a gentle laugh. The incident at Heathrow became a case study in royal protection protocols and interagency cooperation. The successful resolution demonstrated the effectiveness of modern security measures while highlighting areas where improvements could be made. Airport security procedures were enhanced based on lessons learned from the operation. New protocols were implemented for monitoring former employees' access to restricted areas, and additional safeguards were put in place to prevent the unauthorized transmission of security information. For the Royal Protection Service, the incident reinforced the importance of maintaining constant vigilance and the value of thorough intelligence gathering. The threat to Princess Charlotte and Queen Camilla had been real and sophisticated, requiring the full resources of multiple agencies to resolve safely. Commander Harrison concluded his after-action report with a reflection on the dedication of all personnel involved. "The protection of the royal family is a responsibility that we take extremely seriously. Today's successful operation demonstrates that when faced with genuine threats, our systems and our people are prepared to respond effectively." The quiet heroism of Detective Inspector Mitchell and her colleagues ensured that what could have been a frightening ordeal for a young princess became simply an interesting delay on a journey to visit family. Their professionalism and dedication exemplified the best traditions of those who serve to protect the monarchy and ensure the safety of the nation's most cherished institutions. As Princess Charlotte colored peacefully in the aircraft cabin, flying safely toward Scotland with Queen Camilla beside her, she remained blissfully unaware that her security had been threatened and expertly protected by some of the finest law enforcement professionals in the world.